My beloved child, do you not see? This moment is not ordinary. It is your final warning. The door of opportunity will not remain open forever, and hesitation is already stealing what I appointed for you. Every second you delay, blessings slip through your hands like water. This word is not casual. It carries eternal weight. Stay until the end, for what I reveal here will determine whether you step into destiny or watch it pass by forever. With every moment of delay, the blessings I've placed within you drift away like water that can't be held. When you turn away, only emptiness will remind you that you missed the call of the very one who loves you. There are unique, appointed moments for your life that, if you refuse them, will never return. Many have heard my voice, but through doubt and hesitation, they lost the moment I offered. Like a seed falling on the wayside, devoured by birds, an opportunity once gone can never be retrieved. Don't think that time belongs to you, for I alone am the keeper of all seasons. When I declare the time has come, it's not a suggestion. It's an urgent warning for your soul. I've seen those who once burned with passion, yet their flame was soon quenched by the noise of ambition and striving. They heard my voice but chose their own path, believing they could hold both light and darkness. But I have chosen you to be different. I see your heart tremble when you hear my words, and that very trembling is the sign of a soul that fears me. Don't allow your heart to harden, for once it closes, my light can scarcely break through. Remember, I didn't choose you for your strength or skill, but for the surrender of your heart. When you lifted your face in confusion, and your tears fell in loneliness, I saw you and I held you. Nothing you do for me is meaningless. The world may scorn it, but heaven records it, and eternity rejoices. The smallest acts you thought went unseen have become eternal evidence that you belong to me. Don't compare yourself with others, for I measure you through eyes of mercy, not by the hollow standards of mankind. My child, the greatest danger doesn't lie in weakness but in indifference. When you hear my call, yet believe there will be many more chances, you are trading eternal life for fleeting comfort. I've said this opportunity won't return, for grace is not given for bargaining, but for you to take hold of the very moment it is offered. Those who reject it step outside my sheltering arms, and the flowing blessing becomes a vanished stream. Don't console yourself with the thought that tomorrow will come, for there are nights that fall suddenly, without warning. I call you today because today is the day of salvation. Danger doesn't always appear fierce. It often hides beneath delay and complacency. The enemy doesn't need to steal your faith at once. He only needs to lull you into postponement until your days slip away in self-satisfaction. You think there is more time, yet time itself leans toward dusk. The opportunity I grant you if you refuse it has no assurance of ever returning. Like the door of Noah's Ark that shut on the first day of rain, those who delayed were swept away by judgment. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to show you that my grace is worth more than anything you cling to. Many have heard my voice, yet they let reason and desire blind them. They dismissed the signs I gave, thinking they could bargain with time, but opportunity doesn't rest in their hands. It rests in mine, the one who holds every breath. This one refusal today may become a door closed forever. People call it fate, but it is only the fruit of their own neglect of my repeated call. And then they accuse me of silence, though it was their hearts that turned to stone, no longer able to hear. Don't be like them, for once the heart shuts, the light finds no place to enter. Remember Israel in the wilderness. I called them into the promised land, yet many fell dead along the way because of their hardened hearts. They saw the Red Sea part. They tasted manna from heaven, yet they refused to believe and instead murmured and rebelled. In the end, they never entered what I had prepared for them. They assumed there would be more chances, more days to repent. Do you see? Opportunity may come many times, but there will always be a final time, after which only regret remains. Don't be like them, seeing the promise from afar, but never entering it. I want you to walk in fully, not fall short halfway. The reason many miss my calling is that they don't trust me enough to let go of what they clutch. They fear loss, pain, and surrendering what makes them feel secure. But have you considered that holding on to what perishes is like clutching a broken vessel? It brings no life, only cuts that make your hands bleed. When I call, I don't take to leave you empty. I take to give you what is eternal. You need only open your hands, but you must dare to trust me and step out of the cage you call safety. I know you grow weary at times, even doubtful, but in those very moments, I long for you to choose obedience over delay. For every act of obedience opens a new pathway for blessings to be poured down. You may not see it immediately, but in heaven, your prayers are being gathered like incense before my throne. And when the appointed time comes, everything will open before you like a door you never thought possible. This is why I urge you, do not let a single day slip away in hesitation. For hesitation is the wind that extinguishes the fire of faith. Return as soon as you hear my voice, for delay is the first step towards spiritual death. I don't want to see you fall away from grace because you trusted in another chance. I have prepared doors for you, but to pass through, you must be ready the moment I speak. Don't let the noise of the world drown out my voice, for then you will be like one who hears but does not act, like a man building his house on sand. And when the storm comes, all will collapse. Be the one who builds upon the rock, for that rock is my word. In time, you will see those who once had opportunity, but didn't seize it. Now they stand empty-handed. They regret, they look back, but they cannot return to the beginning. I don't want you among them. I want you to be one who stands firm when the door closes behind you, because you entered at the right time. Remember, opportunity is like a passing wind. Only those who set their sails can catch it. Be the one who sets the sail, not the one who waits idly for another breeze. My child, if you keep your heart open, I will lead you step by step. But if you close it, you cut yourself off from the very source of life. I urge you to be sensitive, keep your ears attentive, and do not despise the gentle urgings of the Spirit, for from those gentle promptings you will find the doorway to great blessing. And when you walk through, your faithfulness will become a testimony to others still wandering. Let your life be a warning, a light that points the way for hesitant souls. You have heard my voice many times, but how often have you risen to follow? That sound is not meant to stir emotion alone, nor to fill a fleeting memory. My call comes to transform, to tear down what is decayed, and to lay a new foundation. Yet I see you sometimes stop at hearing alone, moved for a moment, but soon growing cold again. Faith is like a flame lit in an instant, but without oil. It fades before it can light the path. Be careful, for a half-hearted heart is the most dangerous ground. It seems to hold faith, yet in truth, it only wears a fragile shell. Do you know why many hear but do not act? Because their hearts are divided. They long to walk in the light, yet still grasp at the darkness. They desire my blessing but will not surrender their comfort. They want to be called mine, yet fear ridicule and the loss of standing in the eyes of others. That fear becomes invisible chains, slowing their steps and at last bringing them to a halt. Don't think hearing alone is enough, for faith is not proven by fleeting emotion, but by obedient steps. I tell you the story my son Jesus spoke about the seed. Some fell on rocky ground, sprang up quickly, but withered in the heat because they had no root. Some fell among thorns, grew for a while, but were choked by cares, ambition, and desire. Those who hear but do not act are like that soil. At first they receive with joy, but lacking depth, when trial comes, their faith withers, or they let ambition strangle it, leaving only an empty form. Do you see what I give carries eternal worth? But if your heart is divided, the seed will never bear fruit. There are moments when you have sung songs of offering to me, yet when I call you to step into trials, you hesitate. There are times when your lips profess faith, but your life chooses the easier detour. This is the danger of a false faith. It echoes on the lips but never takes root in the soul. To hear but not to act is like gazing in a mirror and then forgetting your own face. You cannot hope for eternal life if my word merely brushes past your ears but never transforms the way you live. Ask yourself, will your faith stand firm when the storm breaks, or will it collapse because it was built upon sand? I call you back to true obedience. Don't let faith turn into a mere religious habit, hearing and then forgetting, promising and then abandoning. I don't seek empty promises, I look for steadfast steps. A person may stumble, but if their desire is sincere, they will rise again, and I will lift them up. Yet those who remain half-hearted, forever hesitating, will be swallowed by weakness. Let my word not only echo in your ears, but become strength in your heart, guiding every choice, for only then will faith cease to be a hollow sound, and instead become a lamp shining in the darkness. Look also at this age, filled with noise, filled with sweet-sounding lies. Many listen, but few obey. They think that knowledge is enough, but when trials come, the truth is exposed. Faith without action is dead. I warn you, do not be like those who build their house on sand. On the day of storm and flood, everything they built will collapse. But the one who hears and obeys my word builds on a rock. Though storms may come, they will remain unshaken. You must choose your foundation, for this is not merely a choice between easy and hard, but between life and death. I don't want to see you lost in the deceit of a divided heart. I long to see you walk with decisiveness, without compromise, without hesitation, for the days ahead will bring clearer separation than ever before. Those who truly obey will shine like gold, while those who only hear without acting will reveal their emptiness. Return quickly before the door closes. Once the moment passes, excuses will hold no weight. And remember, hearing without doing never stands alone. It opens the way for deeper schemes. The enemy needs only to see your hesitation, and it will sow fear, doubt, and confusion, stealing your direction. A heart that isn't whole easily becomes prey to the darkness. That is why I urgently call you. Give yourself fully, for only a wholehearted spirit can endure the trials to come, and then you will understand why I don't look at outward appearances, but into the depths of the heart where every true decision is formed. The world often teaches you that appearances determine everything: success, honor, admiration. People judge by power, reputation, eloquence, and achievements, But I see deep within your heart where the world cannot reach, where true decisions are made. I don't choose masters of words. I don't choose those clothed in authority. I choose trembling hearts that know how to listen, to endure, to weep in silence, and to obey in quiet surrender. For only from such hearts can great works, right steps, and lasting fruit take root. Understand this. The small faithfulness of today is recorded, and it will yield eternal reward. The reason many fail, even while hearing and doing, is because they think outward appearance is enough for acceptance. They put on robes of piety, do good works, attend every ritual, yet their hearts remain full of selfishness, indifference, or doubt. This is a deception they themselves cannot see, but I see all things. Do you not know? The hidden tears, the silent sufferings you never share, the humble steps taken in quiet, they are all remembered. A heart that trembles before my word is alive, but outward beauty without obedience is only an empty shell. Consider the story of Samuel and David. When I called for the sons of Jesse, Samuel looked at Eliab, the eldest, who was tall and handsome, and thought, surely he was chosen. But I told Samuel, do not look at the outward appearance. I do not choose as man chooses. I look at the heart. In the end, I chose David, the humble shepherd, who followed me wholeheartedly, though nothing in his appearance stood out. Do you see? What I seek is not what the world praises, but quiet faithfulness, a willing heart, and the ability to love fully, even when no one is watching. You may ask, how can I know if my heart is whole? I do not demand perfection. But I see each time you choose to rise after failure, each time you endure patiently in adversity, each time you hold back anger or surrender selfish desire to do what is right. That is a heart that is growing. You need not appear strong before others, but never lose the truth within your heart. It is in that hidden place that I bring transformation, building the firmest foundation for every step. A small act of faithfulness today can shape the destiny of your life and those around you. I see many young ones eager for quick success, chasing after fame, wealth, and appearances, forgetting that the foundation is humility and a pure heart. They wonder why, though they have everything, they still feel empty, unprotected, and restless. I remind you again, it is because you have forgotten the true essence of faith. You cannot let the world's coverings define the value of your life. Only when the heart becomes the center and every action flows from it will blessings cease to be an illusion. And from such a heart comes the strength to face the coming trials, enemies, schemes, and temptations without being shaken. Let these words I give you today be your compass. First, understand this. Outward appearance cannot save you. Only the heart can. Everything I teach, whether simple or difficult, is to shape your heart. When you choose obedience, not for reward, but to live fully in my word, you will see blessings poured out in ways you could never expect. And from such a whole heart, the next step will open to a stronger path, preparing you for the trials I will set before you, where only faithful hearts can endure. And in humility you will see it is not those clothed in power, nor those most admired by the world, but those who keep a whole heart in silence, whom I choose to witness, to lead, and to bear eternal fruit. Remember this: every hidden action, every small faithfulness, every time you obey without seeking reward is recorded, blessed, and becomes a lasting foundation. From this place, the light of your heart will shine everywhere, dispelling darkness and preparing you for the next step. Facing opposition and the schemes of the enemy, where only a wholehearted spirit has the strength to stand firm. You will never walk the path I have set without meeting trials. There will be times when you see the world as an obstacle, when you feel the suspicion of others, when darkness creeps into corners of your heart. The enemy is not only what you can see with your eyes, but also the doubts that creep in, the sudden fears, the desires that hold you back. I tell you again, I have known every step you will take, every storm you will face, every scheme sown along your path. But if you guard your faithful heart, every plot will be as a passing breeze, and you will stand firm in every tempest. The reason many fall before the enemy's schemes is because they forget my presence. When your heart wavers at whispers of temptation or the power of the world, you seek safety in yourself instead of in me. People often fear trials, thinking that retreat will spare them suffering. But in truth, retreat only opens the door to darkness. You must understand that every opposition, every doubt, every deceit is but a stage on which I test your faithful heart. Those who endure with patience under my covering will see that no scheme can bind their soul. And even more, those very schemes will become stepping stones for greater blessing. Looking back at Scripture, remember the story of Job, the one I loved, who nevertheless endured the heaviest trials. The enemy sowed doubt, temptation, and loss into his life. His friends turned away, and even he himself wavered at times. Yet Job never lost his faithful heart. Even when the whole world seemed against him, I was still there, taking note of his patience, obedience, and unshaken trust. In the end, I restored everything to him, twice what had been lost. And Job became a living testimony to steadfastness in trial. You will see that each time you stand firm in hardship, it is I who give you the strength to endure without being wounded deeply. And in this, you are prepared for the next step. You must know that the enemy will not only appear openly, but also in many subtle forms. Doubt, the lure of power, wealth, prestige, and words that make you falter. A divided heart, a wavering soul, is easily drawn away from the path I have set. But if you choose faithfulness, let me lead you. When your heart is firm, I will open your eyes to perceive hidden schemes, to discern what is true and what is false, and to keep your spirit of discernment like a warrior who knows how to lift his shield. You will not be wounded by unseen blows, and you will pass through trials without losing the light within your heart. Recognize that opposition does not come to destroy you, but to train you. When storms and schemes surround you, I teach you patience, watchfulness, and the ability to discern. You will learn not to chase shadows, nor to compromise with what is fleeting or vain. Each time you stand firm, refusing fear or the glitter of fame, you build a solid foundation for your soul. From there, you will have the strength to face the final test where the world and darkness imagine they can dominate. But in truth, every resistance only makes you stronger, brighter, and closer to me. From these steps, you will see the difference. Light is never overcome by darkness. And a faithful heart will always find peace in the midst of chaos. Opponents will soon realize that they are but the backdrop for the glory I have prepared. You will walk through trials with faithfulness, prepared to face the subtlest temptations, power, ambition, and the countless compromises the world presents. And in that place, you will be ready for the next step. The world and its shadows, temptations of compromise. Yet the light of today's faithfulness will lead you through every hidden passage without being dimmed. There will be times when you see the world drenched in false light and darkness, clothed in the form of power, fame, or pleasing promises. Many have forgotten the path I laid, believing the gentle whispers of the world more valuable than my command. They trade obedience for what is fleeting, for things that vanish in a moment. But you, if you keep a clear heart, look deeply into each temptation, each invitation. Only when you see their true nature will you know that eternal light cannot be veiled by vanity, and that darkness cannot deceive you any longer. The reason souls so easily compromise is fear. Fear of loss, fear of loneliness, fear of standing in the light without human approval. The world offers applause, yet is empty at its core. Fame and power can dazzle you, making you forget that I am the true source of blessing. I created you to walk in the light, but that light is not always radiant or obvious. It requires courage to distinguish between the false and the true, between what is temporary and what is eternal. Whoever stands firm in that light will see that no temptation can destroy a faithful heart. It only tests patience, faith, and humility. Look again at Scripture. The story of Daniel and his friends in Babylon is a living testimony. When faced with the king's food and the command I had given, Daniel did not run after the comfort and power of the world. They refused compromise, even knowing it would bring isolation and heavy pressure. Yet I preserved them, granting wisdom, strength, and honor. Those who remain faithful in temptation will find my light shining into darkness, and the world's betrayal cannot overshadow eternal blessing. That story is not mere memory, but a reminder. Standing firm in the light always yields outcomes far above worldly calculation. When you stand at a crossroads, let your heart turn to me so that your actions are not swayed by fleeting desires or enticing words. Darkness is not only outside, but lurking in your mind, in ambition and in fear. You must remain watchful, not only judging outward appearances, but also searching the motives within. When your heart stays pure, I will open your eyes to every temptation and every lie, so you may walk without fear, unled astray. This faithfulness and obedience will guard your soul and prepare you for the next steps, where every trial becomes only a stepping stone, drawing you nearer to me. I remind you that light always triumphs over darkness, and faithfulness always surpasses compromise. When you resolve not to retreat, not to yield to falsehood, you will see that my blessing is never lacking, even if the world rejects you. Here you will understand that every temptation is but an opportunity for me to train you to reveal the worth of eternity compared to what is fleeting. Walk with a steadfast heart and do not let a single falter or vain desire dim the light I placed within you. From that enduring light, you will be ready to receive all the blessings I have prepared, so that your life becomes a living witness, reflecting eternal light amid a passing world. And when you look back on the path you have walked, you will see that every trial, every temptation, every scheme of the enemy, and every call of the world became but a backdrop for the light of faithfulness. You will understand that nothing is lost when I guide. Nothing is wasted when I keep you. Each faithful step draws you closer to eternal life, where darkness has no power, where light is never dimmed, where my love and blessing overflow. From there, you will be ready to conclude. No opportunity of the world is lasting if your heart rejects it, but eternal light always awaits you when you choose faithfulness and obedience. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I do not choose according to the standards of this world, for my eyes do not rest upon dazzling appearances or cleverness that draws admiration. I see through every outer shell, reaching the deepest place of the soul, where unspoken thoughts dwell, where true desires are held in silence. When human eyes seek splendor, I look for hearts willing to bow in humility. When many rush to display their voices and strength, I watch for those who tremble at my word, who shudder at the presence of the Holy One. The world may overlook them, considering them nothing, but it is in the disregarded that I find the foundation for my kingdom to be revealed. I choose not based on prominence, but on hidden faithfulness that no one else sees, and on honesty that only I can recognize. I have watched you in moments unseen by anyone else. When the night descended, when shadows pressed in, and no word of encouragement was spoken, I saw you facing the weight of doubt. I know well that you are not always strong. Yet I beheld your eyes lifting upward, still seeking my light, even as your hands trembled. The tears you thought no one could understand, I gathered and cherished each drop as a precious gem in my treasury. They were not only expressions of pain, but also witnesses of faithfulness. They stand as proof that you chose to believe, even when everything seemed against you, is what moves me, and that is why I affirm that you belong to me. Do you think that silent journey was meaningless? Not so. Every moment you kept your heart upright has been recorded in my book. Each time you refused compromise to preserve purity, heaven rejoiced. When you chose forgiveness in the midst of your wounds, when you lifted prayers for others, even while lacking yourself, in those very moments, you became more like me than any sermon could ever teach. The world often praises grand deeds and dazzling victories, but I look upon the quiet choices no one notices. It is those hidden things that stir the heavens, for they reflect the love and sacrifice I have poured out. I didn't choose you because you were flawless, but because you know how to lean on me. I do not seek those who never fall, but those who return after every stumble. Faithfulness is not the absence of failure, but the refusal to run away from me when darkness grows thick. You have known confusion, moments when surrender seemed easier, yet the very act of lifting your head in despair showed me a heart soft enough to be shaped. That is why my eyes have rested with mercy upon you. And I tell you again, not one moment is wasted. Not one tear falls to the ground without being treasured by me. The path I lead you on will not be easy, but it will be filled with glory. You may not receive the applause of men, but I will sing over you. You may not always feel seen or celebrated, but it is precisely in your hiddenness that my light shines brightest. When others overlook you, I remember. When the world dismisses you, I raise you up. Remember, I am the one who looks at the heart. I know the worth of what others ignore. The years you thought you were merely surviving in silence were in truth the very years when I was writing a story beyond your understanding. I know there are times you have wondered, why did I choose you when there are many more gifted and worthy? But understand this, I do not see as humans see. I did not choose you for boasting, but to reveal my glory through your weakness. It is imperfection that becomes evidence of grace. When the world sees you standing firm, they will know it is not by your strength, but by my power. Do not fear your smallness, for I turn the small into mighty instruments. Do not shrink from weakness, for my strength is made perfect there. I have seen every step you've taken, even the faltering ones. I have witnessed when you felt forgotten, when you believed you had no worth. Yet the truth is, I was always there, reminding you that every faithful choice is preserved in heaven. I saw you give in times of lack, show patience in trials, and cling to my word when your mind was weary. You thought those actions were small and meaningless, but they have been laying a foundation, strong and unshakable. From that foundation, I will build a house no storm can tear down. Believe this, every hidden tear is a seed for a radiant harvest. Each prayer you whispered in the dark has risen like incense before my throne. You may not yet see it, but the time I have appointed will surely come. Then everything you have waited for with perseverance will blossom. Dreams you thought were dead will breathe again. Doors you thought forever shut will swing open, and blessings once delayed by the enemy will pour down upon your life. It is faithfulness in the shadows that causes the light to blaze at the appointed time. And when you realize that every weakness was never a hindrance, you will see how I transformed it into testimony. Every fracture in your soul became an opening for my light. Every failure turned into a reminder of grace. Every limitation became a stage for my power to be revealed. Do not be ashamed of the days when you were not strong, for in those very days I was shaping you. Do not worry about your imperfections, for through them I have written a story more perfect than perfection itself. You were chosen not because you were deserving, but because I desired to use your life as a canvas to display my mercy to the world. Every pain, every long night, every tear shed has become a color in that painting. And when others look upon it, they will see that I can turn midnight into dawn, weakness into strength, despair into hope. You need only to keep a tender heart, keep your eyes lifted upward, and keep your hands ready to hold on to me. Remember, my choice is never mistaken. I have seen what you cannot see. I know what you do not yet know. I did not choose you because you were already complete, but because I saw what I could accomplish through you, a future beyond comprehension, a design larger than your sight. If you continue in faithfulness, you will see each piece falling into place. And the masterpiece I am painting with your life will leave you in awe. That is my promise to you, and nothing can stand against it. You once thought your small steps vanished into nothingness, that no one noticed your silent sacrifices, your hidden tears, your prayers unheard by men. But I assure you, none of these were overlooked. Every tear I have kept like a jewel, every whispered word I have inscribed in my eternal book. Every faithful act, whether a simple embrace to the hurting, a word of comfort to the broken, or a small coin offered in your need, carries weight before heaven. The world may call it meaningless, but to me, these are seeds sown in eternal soil, seeds that will never perish. You must understand, I do not measure you by worldly triumphs or applauded successes, but by the steadfastness of your heart, by your desire to place me at the center, even when it means walking against the crowd. Therefore, do not think your deeds forgotten, for in my eyes, everything matters, and every seed will bloom in its time. Yet, do not lull yourself into thinking the road ahead will be smooth, for no path to glory bypasses trial. You have sown in tears, and you will surely reap with joy. But before that joy is complete, there will be nights that seem endless and hopeless. The enemy will not remain silent when he sees your faithfulness. He will plant doubts, making you question whether obedience is worth it, whether hidden giving has meaning, whether prayers ever reach heaven. But in those very moments, when you are torn by uncertainty, I still stand watching, waiting to prove that no act of faithfulness is ever in vain. You will see clearly that what you thought had vanished will become the foundation for something greater that I am about to unfold. Just as the grain of wheat must fall and die to bear much fruit, so too must your life undergo breaking that true blessing may be revealed. Do not be surprised when the world does not understand you, even despises and mocks you, for light always unsettles the darkness, and your faithfulness becomes a rebuke to those who choose the easy path. They will call you foolish for choosing the narrow way. They will say you are naive for refusing tempting offers. They will laugh when you keep praying without visible results. But remember, you are never alone in this journey. Amidst their laughter, heaven thunders with cheers. Amidst their contempt, the eternal kingdom records your triumph. So do not let human rejection shake you, for it is my approval that will keep you standing to the very end. You will face seasons when the ground where you have sown seeds remains barren, with no signs of life, no sprouts breaking through the soil. In those times, the greatest temptation will be to give up, to turn back to an easier road, the road more crowded with travelers. But I tell you, do not abandon the place where I have planted you. For it is in that barren land that I will cause water to flow. In that very desert, I will cause flowers to bloom, and in that emptiness, I will pour out abundance. You will learn that faith is not built upon what the eyes can see, but upon the certainty that I never fail. Remember, those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. And the joy will be greater because it is born of steadfast faithfulness, unshaken by circumstance. The trials to come are not meant to destroy, but to refine. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine, so your soul must pass through testing for faith to be made unshakable. The enemy will roar like a lion seeking to devour, but he cannot touch you beyond my will. And each time he believes he has struck you down, I will turn defeat into a testimony of glory, pain into a profound lesson, and loss into preparation for something greater. You will see that even when you feel crushed, I preserve the core of who you are, so that from within can emerge a new strength that cannot be moved. I have placed my seal upon your life, and that seal makes you untouchable to theft. You belong to me. Therefore, every assault can only take place within the limits I permit, and its ultimate purpose is never your destruction, but your refinement. Do not mistake my silence for abandonment, for while you cannot hear, I am still working. My angels are still fighting for you. My hand is still guarding you, and my plan is still unfolding. At the appointed time, you will see doors open, delayed blessings pour forth, and dreams thought long dead come alive again. But before that day comes, you must keep your heart steadfast. For the trial is not your enemy, but your teacher, leading you into maturity. So when you find yourself surrounded by opposition, do not panic. Remember the times I have lifted you before. Recall the nights you thought you would collapse, but still stood the next morning because I sustained you. The memory of my faithfulness in the past will become your strength in the present. Stand firm, for no weapon forged against you shall prevail. No curse can bind you, and no scheme of the enemy can block the blessing I have ordained. You need only keep your eyes on me, hold fast to my promises, and you will walk through the storm without losing peace within. The road ahead may be filled with thorns, but I have gone before you to clear the way. Just as Israel walked through the Red Sea on dry ground, just as Daniel's 3 friends walked through the fire unharmed, just as David stood before Goliath unafraid, so you will see that when I am with you, nothing can defeat you. Hold fast to your faith, for I have chosen you not to fall, but to become a living testimony, so that through your life many others will see that I am faithful. Therefore, walk forward without hesitation. Do not let gossip, rejection by the world, or storms of circumstance cause you to give up. Each step of obedience you take will become a stone in the bridge leading to something greater. And when you look back, you will see that no tear was wasted, no pain meaningless, no sacrifice overlooked. All has become a resounding witness of unshakable faith, steadfast loyalty, and an unchanging love. Now I call you to remain watchful. What you have sown will blossom in its season, but only those who do not give up will see the harvest. Believe that my hand is still at work, though your eyes cannot yet see. Cling to my promise, though your ears hear only the storm. Walk in faithfulness, though your steps feel heavy with weariness, for I, the faithful one, will never let you be disappointed. And when all is complete, you will stand not as a mere survivor, but as a victor, because you chose not to refuse my call, not to compromise with darkness, and not to release the light I placed within your heart. I never promised that the path would be strewn with roses, nor did I say the journey would be smooth without storms or thorns. But I swore by my very name that you would never have to walk alone, never have to stand against the world by yourself. For I will go with you in every step, every breath, every tear. When raging waters rise before you, remember that I am the one who split the Red Sea for my people to cross. When the flames burn around you, remember that I walked with the 3 men in the furnace, and the fire did not singe a single hair on their heads. So it will be with you. The fires of this life are only instruments to reveal my power. They can never destroy the one upon whom I have set my seal. You will face many eyes of doubt, many voices of mockery, many threats meant to weaken your heart. But know this, that opposition does not come merely from men, but from the darkness enraged by the light I placed within you. The enemy envies you because you carry the seed of life, so he seeks to drain your strength, distract your focus, and sow fear that you are not enough, that you will fall, that my words are but illusion. But stand firm, for every weapon he fashions is useless against my hand. A sword, however sharp, becomes harmless if I decree it shall not touch you. An arrow, however straight it flies, will shatter if I command it not to pierce you. I have engraved your name upon the palms of my hands. You are not just one among countless souls, but a treasure I cherish. Whoever dares to touch you touches the apple of my eye. Is there any stronger safeguard than this? I need no weapon of men, no fortified walls, for my very presence is the fortress that surrounds you. Though darkness closes in on every side, though nations unite in strength, none can break the embrace with which I hold you. Remember that the blessings I have for you are not cheap trinkets to be stolen in an instant. There are gifts I appointed for you before the dawn of time, written in the book of life. And though the enemy may crush many seasons of sowing, he cannot erase the harvest I have prepared. Yes, he may delay, he may erect barriers, he may make it seem as though all is ended. But I am the Lord of time. I hold every season, every moment, and no delay can prevent my appointed time from coming. Blessing flows only at the right season, like rain falling at its due time to refresh a parched land. And when that day comes, you will know that every waiting, every pain, every tear was but preparation, strengthening you to embrace the fullness of what I give. Do you not perceive that in every hardship I am shaping, forging, and etching my image upon you? A sword is sharpened only by fire and hammer. A diamond shines only through relentless cutting. So too must you pass through trials, endure refining, so that weakness is burned away, and faith emerges as pure gold from the fire. Do not think that delays and struggles are signs I have forgotten. In truth, they are my way of preparing you for the glory that is coming. When you feel left behind, when it seems the wicked prevail, do not fear. I allow evil to rise for a moment, not to triumph, but to expose deceit and to strengthen the hearts of those who are mine. It is in opposition that the light shines brighter. It is in the storm that faith grows stronger, and it is when darkness screams the loudest that the song of victory resounds across the heavens. Do you not know that my angels encamp around you, guarding every step, waging battles in realms unseen? You think yourself alone, but in truth, a host of heaven surrounds you. The enemy may whisper into your mind, "You are not enough, you will fall, you are unloved." But I speak this truth to you, you are chosen. Your name is written in the everlasting covenant. You were purchased at the price of priceless blood, and nothing can ever snatch you from my hand. Hold fast to this truth as your shield, so that every arrow of doubt, every sword of destruction is turned back. Do not grant darkness power by believing its lies. Give power to light by clinging to my promises. There are blessings I have not yet allowed to come to you at this moment, not because I have denied you, but because the time has not yet ripened. Like an unripe fruit, that if picked too soon will be sour and useless. A blessing given before its season becomes a burden instead of a joy. My delay is not punishment but protection. I hold back not to cause suffering, but to give at the right time when your heart is mature enough to keep it and your hands strong enough not to lose it. Do not hastily accuse me when you see others receiving more or faster, for I am preparing for you a portion of your own, a treasure that no one can take away. Listen carefully. This journey is not a race to see who reaches the finish first, but a training ground to make your heart steady enough to step into eternity. I never let you face trials beyond your strength. Every burden I place on your shoulders comes with the strength to carry it. Every door I open before you comes with the light to guide your way. You need only keep your eyes on me, your steps firm upon the foundation of the Word, and no opposition, no scheme, no temptation will ever overcome you. And when the day I have appointed comes, you will look back and see clearly. Not one trial was meaningless. Not one tear was wasted. Not one season of waiting was in vain. All have been woven into a great tapestry, where my power and my love are revealed in full. Then you will understand that every wound once borne has turned into radiant scars, bearing witness that darkness has never overcome the light. You will become a living testimony for those wandering in confusion, that if one holds firm to faith, blessings will overflow, and my covenant shall never fail. I have placed within you a work that the world cannot define and none can steal. The tasks I entrust to you are not for you to keep as a personal reward, but for you to become a channel through which streams of life may flow to thirsty souls. You were not made only to receive, but also to give. Every grace, every blessing I pour into you carries a mission that reaches beyond you, so that my light may pierce the dark places where people have long grown accustomed to night. You are not merely a receiver. You are an instrument, a vessel, a witness, a messenger carrying the breath of life. Remember, even the smallest act of obedience can become a wave that transforms the atmosphere of an entire community. When you whisper yes in silence, the heavens resound with song. When you choose what is right, even at personal cost, that decision is etched in eternity as an everlasting testimony. Out of that obedience, your life becomes a powerful witness to those exhausted and fallen by the roadside. My light within you does not require an outward blaze. It shines from a heart that yields, stirring hope in the weak, an awakening in the desperate, a dream of deliverance. You cannot fathom how even your quietest, faithful choices can awaken a soul long asleep in the shadows. Do not underestimate your hands, for I have sanctified them as instruments of healing. When you lay hands in prayer, it is not your strength that flows, but my power moving through you. When you reach out to one trembling in pain, it is not a mere touch, but my comfort sent forth, my assurance that they are not abandoned. Each time you extend your hands to share, a closed heart opens to receive healing. And when you kneel to pray, your whispers do not vanish into the air. They pierce the heavens, shift the atmosphere, and become strength for those you intercede for. Do not think your small prayers have no effect, for in the spiritual realm, they have the power to move mountains, break unseen chains, and open doors thought forever sealed. I have anointed your presence so that wherever you go, the fragrance of my peace spreads. No need for grand words, no need for loud declarations. Simply by being present, darkness feels uneasy, and troubled souls begin to find rest. Your presence itself becomes the answer to unspoken questions, the balm to weary hearts. When others feel the peace surrounding you, they are in fact touching me. Live so that every step carries the fragrance of heaven, stirring in others a longing to know the source of peace the world cannot offer. Know this, your life is not only for yourself, but for many who do not yet know me. Every word you speak under the guidance of the Spirit will not fall to the ground in vain. It is like a seed planted in the soil of the heart. Though hidden in its appointed season, it will sprout and bear fruit. Do not be discouraged when you see no immediate result, for I am the one who gives life to the seed. Your part is to obey. Mine is to make it grow. And through that faithfulness, places once barren as graveyards will become fields full of life. The hopeless will find light, and hardened hearts will soften before my love. Remember, my calling is not for you to live only for yourself, but to be a bridge for many to cross from darkness into light. When you choose to live differently, those who watch you will perceive what surpasses their understanding. When you forgive instead of holding grudges, when you give instead of clinging, when you remain faithful instead of compromising, all these become lamps guiding those lost in the night. They will wonder, why do you remain at peace in the storm? Why are you generous in lack? Why do you keep the light in the midst of darkness? Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. And in searching for answers, they will find me. For only I can explain such things. Do not think this journey will always be easy. There will be moments when you feel weary, when your words seem unheard, when your hands feel useless, when your prayers seem to vanish into silence. Yet I assure you, not one tear you shed is meaningless, not one prayer forgotten. In heaven, everything is recorded. Every cry is heard. Press on, endure. For the work you carry is not of this world, but of an eternal kingdom. And it is in perseverance that you will see miracles, not by your striving, but by my power working through your weakness. You have been chosen not to hide the light, but to let it shine everywhere, like a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. You will be a sign for those groping in the dark. Let every breath, every action, every word of yours be a testimony of my presence. When you pray, not only your soul is transformed, but the atmosphere around you is changed. When you stand firm in faith, darkness must retreat, and when you surrender fully, many will find the way to me. That is why I have entrusted this work to you, because I know you will not keep it to yourself, but allow it to flow, spread, and touch countless lives. Go, live, shine. Do not confine yourself in selfish safety, but open your heart to become a channel. What I have placed within you is not only a mission, but a destiny to be an instrument revealing my love, a witness whose life ignites fire, a presence that carries the fragrance of peace. You will see that every obedient step, every prayer lifted, every tear shed, all contribute to the glorious tapestry I am weaving through your life. And on that day, when you look back, you will know that nothing you did in me was in vain. All bears eternal worth. All is treasure. No power can steal. Listen deeply, for what I am preparing goes far beyond your imagination. Some blessings will not come in the way you expect, but will open like sudden doors into places you never thought to enter. I am the one who brings water from parched ground, who causes flowers to bloom in a scorching desert, who carves a straight path through a wilderness where no foot dares to tread. Just as I breathed life into clay in the Garden of Eden, so today I breathe life into withered dreams, reviving what you thought dead in your hands. What you saw as the end, I will make a beginning. What you thought decayed, I will remake into a radiant work. For in my hands no tear is wasted, no pain forgotten, no loss excluded from the glorious tapestry I am weaving through your life. Remember this, my child. Sometimes I close old doors, not because I have abandoned you, but because I want you to walk toward what is better. Like the grain of wheat that must fall into the earth and break apart before it can sprout, the dreams you thought had died are in fact resting safely in my hands, waiting for the season of a greater harvest. You imagine the years behind you were wasted, but I assure you that every step, every drop of sweat, every tear has been preserved as part of the testimony to my faithfulness. Where you see fragments, I see a foundation. Where you see ashes, I see the tender shoots of tomorrow. And when you believe everything has collapsed, I see a new chapter about to begin. A chapter where my light will shine more brilliantly than ever. There are things I intentionally hide from your eyes, not because you are unworthy, but because if you were to see it all, your fragile heart could not bear the weight of my grand design. I let you walk step by step so you may learn to trust. I allow you to taste lack so you may value abundance. I lead you through the night so you may treasure the dawn, and through every stretch of the journey, I never stand afar. I walk right beside you. Even when you do not perceive it, you think yourself alone, but in truth I am upholding you, shielding you, and opening the way in silence. I allow you to meet your limits, so that you may discover that only in me will you find the boundless. Do not fear the wounds, for I will use them to heal others. Do not be ashamed of weakness, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Do not think failure is the end, for I can turn failure into testimony, ashes into glory. The pains that once brought you to your knees, I will transform into songs of praise. The times you thought you lost everything, I will make into the very foundation of something new. Even the losses you wept over in silence, I gather into my hands and turn into seeds for a mighty harvest. For I am the Redeemer, and in me nothing is ever wasted. Do you remember Hezekiah, when he lifted his eyes in despair and I granted him 15 more years of life? Do you remember Ezekiel standing before the valley of dry bones when I commanded him to prophesy, and the bones stirred, flesh covered them, breath entered them, and they rose into a vast army? I am that same one, the one who brings life out of death, who turns ashes into flourishing forests. I am doing the same in your life, even when your eyes cannot yet see it. Do not conclude the story of your life before I have finished writing it. The lines I write may seem dark in one chapter, but they will blaze with brilliance in the next. And when the canvas is complete, you will marvel that every detail, whether shadowed or radiant, was woven into a masterpiece. Believe this. Even when the storm tears away what you thought you held secure, my hand still holds you fast. When tears blur your vision, I will wipe them away and let you see clearly again. When all before you seems like endless night, I will guide you until the light breaks forth. What you think is loss, I am transforming into treasure. What you think is a dead end, I am opening into a wide highway. You cannot yet imagine how I will turn things around. But take heart, for one day you will see clearly that nothing in your life has been in vain. Everything is serving the greater purpose I designed from the beginning. I know your heart trembles at times, doubts at times, longs to give up at times. Yet in those very moments, I am forging strength in your soul. Like the potter shaping clay, I press down, I turn, I reshape, not to destroy, but to fashion a vessel more beautiful and useful. The pressures are not to crush you, but to form you. The flames are not to consume you, but to refine you like pure gold. And when you pass through the fire, that is when you will shine with a brilliance never seen before. Remember, you are a work I am still building. Do not compare yourself with others, for each work has its own course, each heart its own rhythm. I ask only that you be faithful day by day, step by step. When you walk in faith, you walk with me. And it is then that unexpected blessings will overflow. Some things I have long prepared, yet I release them only when your heart is mature enough to bear them. For I do not want blessing to become a burden, but to become a source of life. So do not be anxious if some prayers are not answered at once, for in my appointed time they will come, and in ways you could never have imagined. You may feel small in the vast current of life, but it is precisely there that my power is revealed in fullness. I do not need outward strength. I need only a heart that listens and obeys. Stand in the place I have set you, even when the ground beneath feels barren. Believe that every seed you sow will sprout in its season, though you do not yet see it. Do not be surprised when I bring forth life from places you thought were dead, for that is how I reveal my glory. It is in your helplessness that my strength is made known. It is in your silence that my song of life resounds. And one day when you look back, you will realize everything you once feared, regretted, or grieved has become the bricks that built you into a vessel useful in my hands. Every tear has become a precious gem. Every scar, a mark of honor. Every failure, a lesson leading you to true victory. You will no longer view your life with regret, but with gratitude. knowing I never abandoned you, never allowed anything in your life to be wasted. And then your heart will blossom in peace, assured that everything, whether bright or dark, has joined in the symphony of glory I have written for you. I tell you, do not despise what seems ordinary, for it is within the simple that I move most powerfully. You may think a small smile, a quiet prayer, or a hidden act of love changes nothing. But I assure you, it is precisely there that my power is displayed in fullness. In your weakness, I find room for my strength to shine. When you see limitation, I see an open door for my grace to pour forth. The moments you bow in humility and dependence are the very moments heaven stirs. For all greatness often begins in silence, in smallness, in what seems overlooked. You do not yet realize it all, but I have been preparing you in ways beyond your calculation. I have placed you in situations you did not desire, yet they are the very soil where your spirit is refined. There are times you felt every door shut, every plan crumble, and you sighed that there was no way forward. But in truth, I was rearranging the board, ensuring your steps would not stray. The delays you resented were never refusals. They were the time needed for your refining, so that when the true opportunity comes, you will have strength enough to receive it. Just as gold cannot shine until it passes through fire, so too you cannot mature without trial. There are seasons when you thought yourself forgotten, unseen, unvalued. You asked, why would I let you be hidden so long? But my child, that was my protection. I kept you from battles you were not yet strong enough to face. I hid you as a seed beneath the soil, giving you time to root deep before meeting the winds and storms. If I had let you surface too soon, even the smallest breeze could have toppled you. But because I love you, I kept you in the quiet season, so that when you are revealed, you will stand firm, unshakable. Do not mistake my silence for abandonment. My silence is the way I am building you. In the days when you think you are weak, in truth, I am weaving into your soul a resilient strength that you have not yet perceived. I engrave within you perseverance. I place within you a discerning eye so that you will not be easily swayed by deceitful sweet words. That wisdom does not come from books or human experience, but from walking with me in the dark days. You will come to see that every trial that once wearied you has become the very stone that builds the foundation for your future. You will clearly understand not a single day is wasted. Not a single step is redundant. Even the resistance of the enemy, even the pain you once resented, are being woven into a tapestry of goodness. Remember those moments when you thought the whole world was against you? Someone misunderstood you, another turned away, and certain situations drained you to the point of collapse. Yet through each of those ordeals, I was silently forging within you a new resilience. You thought you were being weakened, but in fact, you were being strengthened. You thought nothing but ashes remained, but from those very ashes, I breathed new fire. One day when you look back, you will be astonished to realize that everything worked together for your good. For I am the Redeemer. I do not allow a single tear to be wasted, nor do I permit any pain to be meaningless. In my hands, all things are transformed to bear fruit. You must learn to see your life through my eyes, not through the narrow vision of the flesh. You see only the present, but I see the whole. You see the pain before you, but I see the growth beyond it. You see delay, but I see preparation. When you place your trust in me, you will no longer fear delay, because you will know that in every moment of waiting, I am shaping you, adding strength, pruning away what is unnecessary. And when you emerge from the season of refining, you will find yourself changed, more resilient, more discerning, overflowing with wisdom and faith. Let me remind you of Joseph, a boy despised by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, then falsely accused and cast into prison. To human eyes, everything appeared as failure. Yet in the very darkness of the dungeon, I was training Joseph's spirit. At the appointed time, I lifted him from captivity to the throne of Egypt, making him the one who saved a nation from famine. Without those years of obscurity, Joseph would not have matured enough to bear such a great responsibility. In the same way, what you believe is against you today is in fact preparing you for a greater mission. I never allow suffering to be meaningless. I turn every wound into a stepping stone toward restoration. Be assured that I do not waste a single detail of your life. Every scar, every tear, every moment of exhaustion is held in my hands. I am not the one who lets pain happen and then turns away in indifference. I am the Redeemer, the Transformer, who takes what seems like loss and makes it glorious. Do not think that the days of solitude are useless, for it is in solitude that you learn to hear my voice more clearly. Do not believe that the trials that break you are failures, for it is in the breaking that you learn to rise stronger. I do all things to ensure that not a fragment of your life is discarded. Therefore, do not despise weakness. Do not fear delay. Do not resent hiddenness. Everything has its purpose. Everything is in my hands. You need only hold fast to me, trusting that even when you do not see, I am working without ceasing. One day when you look back, you will understand that all that seemed against you had in fact joined together for your good. You will declare, truly, nothing in the hands of the beloved is ever wasted. And then your faith will blaze with unshakable light, for you will have walked through and witnessed my mighty, redeeming power. There will be voices echoing around your life, sounds that seek relentlessly to sow doubt in your heart. They will whisper that you misheard, that you dreamed too much, that what you believe is nothing but a fleeting illusion. Sometimes they will use the voices of family, friends, even those you trust most to plant confusion in your mind. There will be days when your heart wavers, when the gaze of the world makes you think you are on the wrong path, that you are not capable, not worthy of walking in the calling I have given you. But I tell you, do not believe those voices, for they are not from me. They are but reflections of a world that cannot comprehend the way I work. Do you know this? I do not call the strong to display their might. I do not seek the wise to display their intellect. I choose the weak to reveal my power. I choose the small to silence the proud. That is why you must never compare yourself with anyone else. When you look at others, you will always find something they seem to have more than you. Greater talent, brighter success, greater wealth. Yet you do not know the hidden burdens of their hearts, nor do you see what I have placed in their lives. Every soul has its own path, its own calling, and the way I work never repeats. You need not be a copy of anyone. You need only be yourself in the form and purpose for which I created you. There will be times when you are tempted to measure yourself by the standards of the world, striving to reach what people praise. But you will grow weary, for the standards of the world constantly change. Today they honor, tomorrow they scorn, today they embrace, tomorrow they turn away. But I am different. My word does not change, and my calling does not depend on applause or criticism. When I open a door, no one can shut it. When I speak a word, no one can hinder it. Remember, this calling does not rest on today's emotions or tomorrow's approval. It is sealed by my own hand, the beginning and the end. Do not be surprised when the path you walk is mocked by others. Do not be shaken when they say you are foolish for rejecting an easy opportunity or for remaining faithful to the narrow way. Remember Noah, who built an ark on dry land, laughed at by the world until the first rain fell. Remember Abraham, who set out without knowing where he was going, clinging only to my promise. Remember Joseph, betrayed and enslaved, crushed in prison, yet raised in the darkness to become the savior of his people. You see, every sneer is only a veil hiding the glory that will break forth at the time I have ordained. Engrave this truth within you. Faithfulness is never in vain. A prayer whispered in tears never vanishes into the void. It is kept before the throne of glory until the appointed time when it bears fruit. An act of love unseen by anyone is not forgotten. It becomes a small stone laid in the building of an eternal kingdom. A step of obedience, even when it leaves you lonely, is not meaningless. It becomes a testimony of steadfastness celebrated in heaven. You may not see the results immediately, but in the unseen realm, everything is in motion. The seed you sow does not die. It is only waiting for the right season to spring forth in strength. I know you have often grown weary seeing the wicked prosper, while your own faithfulness seems to lead to pain. But do not be deceived. What they possess is fleeting, but what I give is eternal. A flower that blooms in the morning sun withers by evening, but a tree planted by streams of water remains green forever. Remember, the faithfulness you hold today is building for you a foundation unshakable. And on the day I say, "Come, my faithful servant," you will enter into endless joy, a joy no one can take from you. I also know you often ask, am I capable of fulfilling the task the Lord has entrusted to me? Remember this, you do not need to be capable, for I myself am the source of your strength. If you rely only on yourself, you will always find yourself lacking. But when you look to me, you will see that your weakness is the very place where my power is revealed. In your limitation, I show my boundlessness. In your imperfection, I display my perfect grace. Therefore, do not let the sense of unworthiness bind your steps. For what determines the outcome is not your ability, but my presence with you. There are works I have begun in your life that you thought were left unfinished, thought were dead. Yet I never abandon what I start. If I have sown, I will water. If I have spoken, I will fulfill. Remember my promise. The work I begin, I will faithfully complete. Not a single word from my mouth returns void. Though it may seem delayed in the eyes of men, in my plan everything is precise. Be patient, for what you are waiting for is itself the proof of my unfailing faithfulness. Therefore, my child, take courage. Do not let voices of denial make you forget the call you first received. Do not allow words of scorn to dim the light of your faith. Remember, you do not walk to seek the recognition of men, but to please the one who has called you. When you remain faithful, you are taking part in a greater masterpiece I am painting, one far beyond your vision. And one day, when the whole picture is revealed, you will see that every step, every sacrifice, every act of obedience was a perfect piece within my plan. Do not fear, for you are not alone. Do not doubt, for I have proven my faithfulness from everlasting to everlasting. Do not compare, for you have been chosen for a purpose no one else can replace. Step forward, even if trembling, for I will make your steps firm. Trust even when you cannot yet see the full path, for I already know the ending. And rejoice even in trial, for the reward awaiting you is not only in this world, but in the eternal realm that never ends. I have seen the seeds you sowed in secret, the quiet steps no one noticed, the tears falling to the ground with no one to care. The world may dismiss them as useless, but in heaven, each tear has become a seed gathered into my hand. You may think all has been forgotten, but I say this: not a single tear falls without producing fruit. The things you sowed in the darkness, the sacrifices offered when no one praised you, will blossom into a radiant harvest in the light, and that day will come sooner than you imagine, like dawn suddenly tearing through the heavy night. Do you know why I call these the seeds of tears? Because they are not easy, not light, not carefree. They carry pain, loss, and at times the weight of utter loneliness. Yet for this very reason, when they sprout, the fruit is sweeter than anything you could ever imagine. True joy can only be tasted when it has passed through the deep valleys of sorrow. You may have thought I ignored you, that your prayers rose unanswered, but believe me, they have all ascended like incense before my throne of glory. And at the appointed time, before you even realize it, the answer will appear swift and sudden, like rain pouring upon thirsty fields. Do not let delay weary your heart. Do not let the waiting drain your courage. The harvest is nearer than you think, and not a single tear you shed has been wasted. Even in the moments you felt most alone, even in the hours you felt weakest, all of heaven was moving. You could not see it with your eyes, but an invisible army stood guard around you. I have sent my angels. They surround you. They fight in battles your eyes cannot perceive. Their unseen hands are pushing back the darkness, breaking the arrows of the enemy, and making your steps secure. There were times you wondered, if you are with me, why is there delay? Why are my prayers still unanswered? You must understand, when I arrange, it is not to shift one small detail before your eyes, but to orchestrate an entire masterpiece. I am changing hearts, preparing circumstances, opening doors that you cannot yet see. One move of mine does not touch only you, but also others, even generations to come. Therefore, what I do requires time. But when the moment arrives, you will see that everything fits perfectly. Nothing wasted, nothing by chance. I know how many nights you bowed your head in trembling, whispering, "Lord, do you still hear my prayers?" And I answer, I still hear. I have never been silent, only that my response does not arrive the way you expected, nor on the timeline you desired. But one day, you will realize that the very delay preserved you in grace, shielding you from what you were not ready to face. My waiting was not to tire you, but to give you something better, something beyond what you imagined. And when you see your prayer answered, you will know that every silence before was part of my great love. Do not be ashamed of your tears, for tears are a language I understand best. Tears are not signs of failure, but proof that your heart is still tender before my word. A hardened heart no longer knows how to weep, and that is the true tragedy. But as long as you can still cry in prayer, it is proof that the seed is still being sown, that your soul is still alive. And I promise you, the seeds sown in tears will be reaped in joy. That joy is not shallow or fleeting, but enduring, eternal joy. Imagine a barren field. After a long drought, the soil is cracked, plants withered. Suddenly, a great rain pours down, the earth drinks deeply, seeds awaken, and the field becomes a lush green carpet within days. This is the picture of the harvest I have prepared for you. It will come quickly, unexpectedly, not because you tried harder, but because my appointed time has come. And when it does, no power can stop it. No enemy can delay it. No curse can stand against it. All must give way to the outpouring of my blessing. For now, you need only remain steadfast. Keep sowing. Keep praying even through tears, even in loneliness. For it is in your weakness that my power is made perfect. You do not need to be the strongest. You only need to cling to me. The rest, heaven will arrange. My angels have already gone ahead, preparing things you cannot see, fighting in the darkness, opening a way in the wilderness. And one day you will step into it, look back and exclaim, "How marvelous! The Lord has done this." So do not give up. Do not let weariness steal your hope. Do not let the voices of the world extinguish the faith you hold. For even now, when your eyes have not seen and your ears have not heard, I am at work. Doors that seemed shut will swing open. Walls that seemed unscalable will fall. Curses that seemed unbreakable will be shattered. And then you will see the abundant harvest. See your tears turn to laughter. See your prayers become songs of victory. I know there will be moments that leave you stunned, when someone who once walked with you, held your hand, suddenly disappears from the journey. You will ask why a bond you thought unbreakable was cut, why a door you thought wide open suddenly closed. But my child, understand this. Not every loss is the absence of love. Not every departure is betrayal. Sometimes those very losses are the fences I set up to protect you from what you were not wise enough to discern, from paths that could lead you to destruction. My protection is not always an embrace. Sometimes it is disguised as emptiness, as separation, as a door closing. There are people placed beside you only for a season to teach you something, to shape you in some way. But that does not mean they are destined to walk the whole road with you. Do not cling to hands I have already released from your life, for those hands could become a weight, holding you back, even turning you off course. I know your heart has often longed to keep them because you found them important, because you grew used to their presence, or because you feared the vast emptiness without them. But trust me, you see in part, I see the whole. You see the present, I see the future. You see the surface, I see the depths. You see their leaving as a wound, I see it as a deliverance. You must understand that protection is sometimes not addition, but subtraction. I take away not to leave you empty, but to make room for something better, stronger, truly destined for you. Just as a gardener prunes branches that bear no fruit, so the tree may focus its life on the fruitful ones. So I cut away from your life the ties that do not bring life. You call it loss, but I call it preparation. And in the appointed time, you will see that today's pruning is the very reason for tomorrow's abundant harvest. Remember, sure Abraham, the one I called to leave behind his homeland, his family, his friends, and go to a land he had never known. He had to walk in solitude, guided only by a vague promise. Yet in that departure, I began the journey of raising up a people, of establishing an everlasting covenant. Had Abraham clung to what was familiar, he would never have seen the promised land. Likewise, you cannot step into what I have prepared if you cling tightly to relationships I have asked you to release. Parting at times is the very condition for the promise to be fulfilled. I know your heart, and that every time someone leaves you feel an emptiness. You believe you are abandoned, betrayed, or even judged. But you must trust me. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to remain. Some come to test your faithfulness, some come to teach you patience, and some come only to leave so that you may understand that your one enduring trust is in me alone. Do not place the weight of your heart on those who can depart at any moment. Place it in me, the one who will never forsake you, never turn away, never let go. At times you see a door close and cannot understand why. You feel as though I have acted against what you prayed for. Yet I closed it because I saw that beyond that door was a pit. You only saw the dim light on the surface, but I saw the darkness hidden within. You thought what you desired was a blessing, but I knew it was chains. You thought a relationship was necessary, but I knew it would hinder the freedom I had prepared. I never close a door to leave you empty. I close it to lead you into another path where true light shines. My mercy often takes the form of loss. You weep believing you have lost something precious, but in truth, I am protecting you from what would wound you more deeply. Like a child clinging to a sharp object, crying when his father takes it away, so too at times I must pull from your hands what you think you need, but which only cuts you. You do not yet see the whole picture, but I see it. You do not yet know the end, but I have determined it. And all I do, even when you do not understand, flows from my kindness and perfect providence. I am the Good Shepherd, and I will never lead you into danger. You will never walk alone, even when you feel lonely. Type yes if you're ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I know how to bring you to green pastures, how to lead you beside still waters, but I also know how to keep you from cliffs and wild beasts. Therefore, when I remove someone from your journey, trust that I am keeping you safe and guiding you toward a better, wider path. Do not let bitterness or resentment take root in your heart, for what I cut away today is mercy for tomorrow. And as time passes, you will look back and see that every loss carried meaning. Every person who left, every door that closed, every letting go you endured, all were woven into the tapestry of blessing I was completing. You will recognize that had I not shut those things off, you would never have had room to receive the new. You will see that in the moments you wept silently, I was laying the foundation for lasting joy. Then you will bow in gratitude, knowing that protection, dressed as loss, was in fact my greatest love for you. Draw close to me. Do not let your heart wander down other paths, for only in me will your soul find abundant life. I do not promise you a stormless journey, but I promise that my hand will lead you to lands where your heart is restored, where your faith is nurtured, and where the purpose I have destined for you is fulfilled. You were not chosen because you excelled or were holier or stronger than others, but only because of my love, a love beyond the measures of this world. I saw you when no one else did. I called your name when no one else spoke it, and I placed my seal upon you before you even understood the meaning of existence. You are the one I have chosen, not because of merit, but because I have a plan. My love for you is not fleeting or vague, but eternal, so strong that I rejoice over you with singing. Imagine among billions of souls I look upon you with delight, not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Every smile, every tear, every longing within you I know, and I treasure them as a song written only for you and me. You are more precious in my eyes than all the treasures of the earth, for you are the work I fashioned with my own breath. Do not let fear become chains that hinder your steps. I have not given you a spirit of timidity, confusion, or doubt, but of power, of overflowing love, and of a sound mind. When fear knocks, remember it is not from me. When anxiety covers you, know that I have placed within you a strength greater than all darkness. You are not destined to live in retreat, but to advance, to be bold, to bear witness to my light. Do not look to your weakness, but to the one who has endowed you with authority. I have given you the promise, and I have also given you the strength to keep it. Walk in the authority I have entrusted to you. Do not bow to the voices of the world, nor tremble before the accusations of the enemy. For I have placed my word in your mouth, and that word carries the power to change the atmosphere, to shatter darkness, to sow life. Each time you speak, do not doubt. Believe that my word will never return void. It will accomplish the purpose I have set. It will touch withered souls. It will open doors for the bound, and it will heal hidden wounds. I have not sent you to speak empty words, but that your mouth might be a channel of life. Stand firm in the truth, even when it is rejected, even when mocked, even when lies are exalted. My truth does not change. Though the world shifts and hearts grow cold, you will often see people prefer sweet words, words that tickle their ears, while they turn away from truth. Do not let that shake you. I have called you to be a guardian of truth, like a watchman on the wall, who, though weary, does not sleep. Your faithfulness will itself testify that truth can never perish. Remember, I am your defender. You need not justify yourself, nor chase after praise, nor fear reproach. I will vindicate you at the time I have appointed. When the world misunderstands you, hold your peace. When others oppose you, remain steadfast. When lies surround you, look to me. In due time I will make truth shine like the dawn, and every seed you sowed in silence will bloom in light. I will not let any of your labor be in vain. Every tear shed in secret will be repaid with joy the world cannot take away. Picture a young tree with roots deep in the earth. Though storms rage, it does not topple. That is how I want your life to be. Not swept away by the swift changes of the world, but standing firm through roots sunk deep in my word. Each day, drive your roots deeper into my presence, so that when storms come, you not only stand for yourself, but become shade for those who stagger. I have called you not merely to exist, but to influence, to be a spring in dry land, to bring living breath to weary souls. You are the witness I have appointed for this generation. The world is filled with turmoil. Hearts are heavy with anxiety. Yet I have placed you as a lamp to shine forth light, to proclaim truth. You may think you are small, but in my hand you are a mighty instrument. Believe that what I begin, I will complete. What I sow in your heart, I will bring to fruition. Though the world changes, though people may betray, I remain faithful, and my word never fails. Therefore, step forward without fear. Lift your head without shame. Open your mouth with boldness, for you do not walk alone. I go before you. I walk beside you. I come behind you. I am the fortress that surrounds you, the shield that protects, the flame that warms, the shade at noonday. No power can strip away the authority I have given. No accusation can destroy what I have sealed. You belong to me, and that alone is enough for you to stand firm amid every change. You are my song of delight, the joy I embrace, the testimony of my unfailing love. So do not let a single day pass in fear or doubt. Live with strength, speak with boldness, love with fullness, for I have poured out my spirit upon you. The world may not understand, but heaven rejoices. People may reject, but I have engraved your name upon my hand. And when all has passed away, when all that is temporary has crumbled, you will still stand in the light, still be clothed in my righteousness, and still hear the song I sing over you. When you walk upon the path I have ordained, there will be days when your shoulders tremble beneath the weight of the calling. At times, you will sigh, believing this burden to be more than you can endure, and deep within you will long to give up. Yet do not forget, it is I who place this burden upon your life, and it is I who walk with you step by step. The strength you need does not lie within yourself, but in me. When you are weary, remember that my hand is holding you. When you stumble, I am the one who lifts you up. When you feel you have no breath left, I am the breath of life that awakens your soul. No burden I entrust to you is beyond your capacity, for every burden is shared with me. You often think you must fight the storm alone, striving to prove yourself worthy. But the truth is, I have never left you by yourself. I have carried the yoke with you, and when we walk together, you will find the yoke easy and the burden light. I did not give you this calling only to stand afar and watch. I walk beside you, guiding and upholding you. When you fall, I do not condemn but draw near to raise you. When you cry out, I listen and respond. Your calling is not a burden to crush you, but a journey to teach you reliance, surrender, and unity with me. Pour out your heart before me, and you will see weariness fade away. I do not expect you to clench your fists and force strength. I desire you to know your weakness, that I might be your strength. When you dare to lay aside the armor of hardness, when you allow me to touch the depths of your wounds, that is when I renew your soul. The peace I give is unlike the world's peace. The world calls peace the absence of battle, but I call peace the presence of the Spirit in the midst of battle. You may stand in the storm, yet your soul remains at rest, for you know I am with you. You may hear the enemy's roar, yet your heart does not tremble, for you feel my breath near. You were never meant to carry everything alone. From the beginning, I chose to walk with you. Before you even recognized the calling, I was beside you. Before you knew the burden, I was preparing your shoulders. And when you stepped into it, I stepped in with you. Remember, I did not give you a path to struggle through by yourself, but I gave you myself as a companion, as strength, as refuge. Every step you take, I go before you to prepare the way. Every place your foot treads, I scatter blessings. Every time you falter, I supply new strength. For this journey is ours, not yours alone. I will teach you to rest even in the midst of battle. Do not think that rest means stopping or giving up. Rest means leaning into my arms, even when the sword still gleams nearby. The peace I give cannot be stolen by the world's noise, nor shaken by the schemes of darkness. It surpasses all understanding, beyond circumstance. When you choose to fix your eyes on me, fear dissolves. When you allow my spirit to dwell within you, you discover a refuge even when all around you rages. It is this presence that makes you different, not because you escape trials, but because within trials you remain steadfast. Do you remember Elijah, the prophet who once stood fearless against hundreds of false prophets, but later collapsed in the wilderness, begging me to take his life? I did not rebuke him, but sent an angel with bread and water to restore him. For I know that even the strongest falter. What you need is not infinite endurance, but to turn to me for renewed strength. As Elijah was restored to continue his mission, so you too will be nourished to walk to the end. I do not demand you to strain endlessly forward. I invite you to lean on me and keep walking. Do not be ashamed of your weariness, For I do not seek perfection in your strength. I seek a heart that comes to the source of life. Do not be afraid when the burden weighs upon you, for in that burden you will sense my nearness. Do not think hardship is proof of my abandonment. It is the moment you perceive my companionship more clearly. The more you lean on me, the lighter you will feel. The more you surrender, the more you will know the peace that the world cannot comprehend. This is my gift, reserved for those who willingly place everything in my hands. Let me transform the way you see burdens. Do not see them as punishment, but as opportunities to encounter me more deeply. I do not remove every thorn from the path, but I give your feet the strength to tread over them. I do not steal every storm, but I give your heart calm within the tempest. I do not take away the yoke, but I bear it with you, making it gentle. And when you reach the end, you will realize that the burden itself has matured you, has taught you love, and has shown you that my hand has never left you. Therefore, lift up your head. Know that the burden was never meant to crush, but to shape. It will strengthen your shoulders, steady your steps, and deepen your heart. In every heavy stride, I am there, bearing with you, upholding you, teaching you to rest in me. When you realize this, the burden ceases to be chains and becomes a lesson. It will testify that you never walked alone, but always with me, the one who empowers, renews, and turns weariness into a chance to reveal my power. In this journey, you will see that calling is not a crushing weight, but a grace, an honor, a testimony of my trust and love for you, my child. I have appointed your life for such a time as this. It is no accident that you are here in this generation, no coincidence that you walk the path you do today. Every season you have passed through, the days of joy, the nights of tears, the years that seemed meaningless, all have been woven by me thread by thread to shape you for a greater purpose. You may not yet see the whole design, but I assure you nothing you have gone through is wasted. Even wounds, failures, and rejections are becoming witnesses of my faithfulness. When you think you are living just another ordinary day, in truth, I am preparing you for an extraordinary season. The world around you sinks deeper into darkness day by day, generation by generation. You may see corruption, deceit, and fear spreading. Yet within you, I have placed a flame no one can extinguish. The light I set in your heart will not be overcome by the darkness. Instead, in the darkest night, it will shine brighter. Remember, this darkness does not define light. It only serves as the backdrop for its brilliance. So when you see the world grow darker, do not fear, for it is the very moment your light will blaze forth. He who is in you is greater than any force outside you. You will face opposition, for light always unsettles those who live in darkness. They will seek to silence you, to mock you, or to snuff you out. But take courage, for such resistance is not proof you are wrong. It is confirmation that the light within you is powerful. If your words meant nothing, darkness would not care. But because your light pierces deep, the enemy seeks to hinder you. Do not fear, for no weapon formed against you shall prevail, and no accusation can surpass the blood of the Lamb covering your life. You were not created for a small and ordinary existence. Your life has a purpose beyond what you can imagine. I have placed within you gifts, desires, wounds, and lessons, all to weave a story others need to hear. I will use the very pain you endured to heal others. I will use the scars of your soul as testimony of my healing. I will use your steadfast faithfulness to encourage the weary, and I will turn your life into a living witness that I am faithful even before you fully understand. Every season in your life is a part of preparation. The fleeting days of joy have planted hope within you. The nights you wept alone have softened your heart so that you may learn compassion. The bitter failures have broken pride so you could learn reliance. The silent moments when you thought I was absent were in truth the times I was quietly shaping you, deepening the roots of your faith. Therefore, do not despise any season. You may see fragments, but I see a masterpiece, and that masterpiece is coming into clarity. A portrait of one who is chosen, a story that is ordained, a mission that is taking form. I tell you, remain steadfast and faithful. Do not give up midway, for you are close to a season of fulfillment. Like a field turning golden only after long hidden months of watering, you too are stepping into the season where the seeds you have sown will begin to bear fruit. The promises I have spoken will not remain dormant forever, but are awaiting their appointed time to be fulfilled. You will see what I once whispered in the dark begin to shine in the light. Dreams you thought had died will rise again. Prayers you thought unanswered will blossom, and you will understand. Delays are never denials, but only the waiting for the day of glory. You may have asked yourself many times, why did God choose me when there are others more capable and stronger? Remember, I do not look as humans look. I do not choose by outward ability, but I search the heart. And your faithfulness in small things has made me entrust you with greater things. Do not compare yourself with others, for the calling upon your life is unique. No one else can take your place in my design. If you give up, a part of the picture will be missing. But if you stand firm, that picture will shine in its fullness. The world will try to convince you that you are small, that your story carries no weight. But I tell you, even a small candle can drive away the darkness of an entire room. A single drop of water contributes to the vast ocean. One faithful step of yours can alter the destiny of a soul. Do not belittle yourself, for I have placed upon your life an eternal value. Everything you do in me reverberates in eternity. And now I declare, you are entering a season of accomplishment. Not because you are good enough, but because I am faithful. Not because you have never failed, but because I have redeemed every failure of yours. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Not because you know all things, but because I am writing your story with wisdom beyond all understanding. You will begin to see doors open, connections orchestrated, turning points unfolding unexpectedly. You will be surprised, yet you will realize all was in my plan from the beginning. So be courageous and step forward. Do not look back at what was lost. Do not dwell on who has left. Do not fear the darkness, for the light within you will shine brighter than ever. Remember, you do not live only for yourself, but your story will become a bridge for many to come to me. When they witness the change in you, when they hear of your faithfulness, they will recognize that I am the faithful one. And through you, many will regain hope, find life, and discover the path home. On that day, you will look back and see that every tear, every sacrifice, every pain was not in vain. All has become the foundation for the fulfillment I grant. You will see that the word I have spoken never falls to the ground void, and in eternal joy you will understand what I began. and I have completed what I promised. I have kept, and your life in my hand has never been meaningless, not for a single moment. You will not wait long to see the clear evidence of my hand. Every step you take, every door once thought shut will open, and you will know it is not your own strength at work, but my power moving. I want you to be astonished, for that astonishment will be proof that it is not from your limited ability, but from my boundless grace. You will bow and worship, not because you are compelled, but because your heart cannot contain the gratitude upon realizing that every blessing flows from my hand. When you look back on your journey, you will see that the turns which once seemed like dead ends have become perfect paths leading you to this day. The silent tears once shed will become radiant jewels, proof that I never abandoned you. You will cry out, "If not for you, I could never have walked this far." And that will humble you, stripping away pride in your own strength or fleeting wisdom. You will know that my grace does not only cover you, but lifts you far beyond what you ever thought possible. My child, hold firmly to me. In a world of upheaval, where values shift and voices clash, the one unchanging truth is my love for you. People may promise, then betray, exalt, then turn away. But I have never changed. When I say I am with you, it is not empty comfort, but an unshakable truth. I stand on your side not to spare you from all trials, but to ensure that no enemy, however strong, can overcome you when you are in me. There will be moments you feel too small before the great waves. But remember, you are not called to calm the sea on your own. It is I who command the storm to be still. It is I who stretch out my hand to keep you from sinking. When you cling to me, you will find yourself walking on the very waves that once threatened to swallow you. Do not fear, for my hand is holding you, and once I have taken hold, I will never let go. No power can snatch you from my embrace. No scheme can rob you from my heart. Yet not everyone chooses to walk this path. Some hear but still deny. Some see evidence but turn away. They doubt my existence not for lack of signs, but because their hearts are hardened, unwilling to part from what darkness offers. They choose the ways of the enemy, not only in thought, but in deed, even bowing in worship to it, if it means gaining power, fame, or fleeting pleasure. They believe darkness grants them freedom, yet in truth, they have surrendered to chains that cannot be broken. Do not be surprised when you see them arrogant, living as though they need not me. Pride always blinds the eyes. But know this, that path leads only to destruction, and the exaltation of darkness never brings true peace. I grieve when people hand themselves over to the enemy, but I will not force anyone away from the choice they cling to. I am full of mercy, yet I am also just. And when one deliberately rejects the light and refuses the truth, they will in the end reap its consequence. Keep your heart tender, never allowing the hardness of the world to make you like them. You may be mocked, you may be isolated, but remember to stand with me. Is of eternal worthwhile to stand with darkness yields only emptiness. You will see with your own eyes that those proud in the dark will fall, while those faithful in the light will be lifted up. That is the difference between the temporary and the eternal, the false and the true, destruction and life. I call you to keep holding my hand, even when surrounded by those who refuse. For you do not walk only for yourself, but you are a lamp for the lost, a guide for wandering souls still able to return. Your faithfulness will be a testimony, not needing eloquence, but revealed through the way you live. As you walk in, the light darkness is exposed, And as you cling to me, others will see that I am the source of strength. And many will be drawn out of the depths through your example. Therefore, do not release my hand, nor let go of hope. Even if the world denies me, I remain true. Even if darkness is exalted, my light cannot be extinguished. You are not responsible to change the whole world, but you are responsible to keep your heart pure. I have placed my seal upon you, and that is enough for you to stand. Believe that what I begin, I will finish, and my grace will carry you through to the harvest of eternal life. I see into the depths of every heart. I know the weakness of each soul. I understand the stumbles that come from blindness or ignorance. For these, I open wide my arms of forgiveness. I patiently wait for their return. I use mercy to draw them near. But there are others who go beyond weakness. They choose to stand wholly with darkness. They know the truth, yet turn their backs. They see the light, yet cover their eyes. They hear my words, yet twist them into scorn. This is no longer mere error, it is rebellion. And when their hearts delight in evil, taking corruption as their pride, they are not only far from me, but they rise against the very holiness of who I am. Do not think that my anger bursts forth like the rage of men. I am slow to anger, rich in mercy, patient in waiting. Yet such patience does not mean indulgence without end. There is a boundary, a line that, once crossed, seals the heart, closing the door within, leaving no ear attuned to the call of the Holy Spirit. I grieve when I see them reach that place, for I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but neither can I deny my own righteous nature. If I turn a blind eye to deliberate evil, I am no longer the just one. If I tolerate rebellion, exalted as glory, I betray my own holiness. Look carefully, and you will see some cloaked in garments of religion, speaking in my name, yet filled with greed, hunger for power, and selfish ambition. They twist truth into a tool for personal gain. They preach deceit and call it wisdom. Others make no attempt to hide their allegiance to darkness, openly scorning what is good, mocking purity, delighting in the suffering of others. In such moments, my wrath rises not because I lose control, but because my righteous nature cannot allow such defilement to endure. My anger is not against weakness, but against those who revel in sin, who wear darkness as pride, who crown rebellion as honor. Remember the days of Noah, when mankind devised evil unceasingly, when violence covered the earth. I warned them with patience, yet they mocked and scorned, plunging deeper into corruption. At last I was compelled to act. The flood swept over all, and only Noah's family was spared. That anger was not a sudden outburst, but the inevitable act to prevent evil from consuming all humanity. Or consider Sodom and Gomorrah. Not only were they astray, they gloried in depravity until the cry of their wickedness reached heaven. I sent my messengers, but they ridiculed and sought to defile even them. When humanity reaches the point of no return, my justice must act. My greatest sorrow is not when one stumbles, but when one rejoices in that stumble and rejects the hand of rescue. To the weak I extend my arm, but to those who mock purity with intent, I cannot call them mine. They have given themselves over to darkness, chosen evil as master, sealed their hearts against my knocking. Forgiveness carries weight only where there is a desire to return. When the heart grows callous and repentance is no longer sought, forgiveness has no entrance. This is the boundary that pains me, yet compels judgment. Understand, judgment is not my delight, but judgment itself is love in its sternest form. It is the last wall against the spread of evil. the barrier shielding the innocent from being devoured. I wait in patience. I send reminders. I raise up messengers. But if mankind persists in prideful rejection, they choose their own destruction. Then my wrath is no longer warning, but righteous action to restore holiness to the world. Therefore, beloved, be watchful. Do not be like those who delight in evil. Do not let your heart grow numb to iniquity. Each compromise, each belittling of purity, draws you nearer to the perilous edge. I do not desire you near that line, for once crossed, return is difficult. Keep a tender heart. Let tears of repentance still flow. Let conscience tremble before truth. For as long as you can still bow, still feel shame for sin, you remain in my embrace. Do not let deliberate rebellion claim your soul. For when you take joy in evil, when you wear corruption as honor, you remove yourself from my shelter. I have shed blood to open the way of forgiveness, but such grace cannot be forced upon one who refuses to receive it. Then justice must act. I grieve, yet I remain unchanging, abundant in mercy, but also steadfast in righteousness. Walk then in trembling and wakefulness. Know that I am slow to anger, but my patience is not without limit. I long for all to be saved, yet some will choose rebellion until the end. Do not be among them. Stay humble. Cling to the light. Choose truth even if it brings mockery. For only in truth is life, and only in faithfulness will you avoid the threshold where hearts turn to stone and souls lose the way back. Do not mistake my nature. I take no joy in a soul's ruin. I did not create mankind to watch them perish. I did not grant life only to see death consume. My heart has bled again and again, beholding those I loved, nurtured, and called by name, now turning against the light. I have cried out countless times, given countless warnings, sent countless signs, both gentle and severe. Even near the very end, I extend my arms, leaving a door for repentance. I am ready to forgive, ready to cleanse, ready to restore, if only a heart will soften before truth. But tragically, some not only reject, but lock the door from within. They will not listen, will not see, will not allow a single ray of light to enter. They throw away the key and crown themselves with hardness. They fortify their hearts against all that is pure. When hearts become stone, my word no longer pierces. My call no longer stirs. At that stage, they are not merely lost, but enemies of all that is holy. They resist the good. They mock the pure. They twist the just into evil and crown evil as righteousness. I am the one full of mercy, but also the one full of justice. Mercy does not erase righteousness, and righteousness does not cancel mercy. If I overlook sin carelessly, I become unjust. If I judge without mercy, I betray my loving nature. Yet in my perfection both meet, mercy for the repentant, justice for the defiant. I cannot deny myself, for I am unchanging, yesterday, today, and forever. The world in which you live is filled with such souls. Often they do not wear cruel faces, but pleasant masks. Some hide under the guise of kindness, a sweet smile concealing dark intent. Some wear religious form, praying, performing rites, yet their hearts bow only to self and desire. Others conceal nothing, boasting openly of their loyalty to darkness, treating sin as triumph, corruption as glory. They entice, they deceive, they lead the weak astray, and I grieve to see many follow, thinking they have found freedom, yet becoming slaves to shadow. See clearly, deception lies not only in obvious acts of sin, but in their distortion of truth. They make falsehood doctrine, desire, law, rebellion, spirit. They preach error as if truth, turn darkness into false light, and mock those who dare stand for righteousness. The upright are ridiculed, the humble despise, the loving are trampled. and they laugh as though victory is theirs. But I tell you, their end is already decreed. A house built on sand cannot endure the storm. A barren tree with false green will soon wither. I have waited long, extended my hand often, but if they willfully turn away, their choice itself becomes their judgment. I take no pleasure in their ruin, yet my justice cannot allow darkness to reign unchecked. I will not let evil consume the world. I will stop it, even if the price is severe judgment. For without it, injustice will rule, and the weak will forever be crushed. So be watchful. Do not let sweet deceit beguile your soul. Do not think that soft words or a pious face mean one belongs to the light. Discern by my spirit. Look at their fruit, for every tree bears after its kind. A soul that is mine will bear love, kindness, humility, and righteousness. A soul ruled by darkness will yield pride, greed, lies, and rebellion. Avoid such as these, lest their deceit pull you down, and do not tremble before their mockery. They may scorn purity, but purity still shines brighter. They may despise humility, but humility I exalt. They may trample mercy, but mercy shall prevail. Stand firm, for I am your defender. Though the world shouts, though darkness roars, my righteousness will thunder like a storm, and truth will shine like the morning sun. I speak this not to sow fear, but so that you may know the battle is real, and every choice carries true consequences. I call you to stand on the side of light without compromise, without wavering, without being swept away by the noise. For I have called you by name, set my seal upon you, and prepared a place for you in the great design. You need only remain faithful, and the light within you will be both a testimony and a lamp, guiding many others out of deception. Listen closely, for I am unfolding works that will astonish you. Shifts that appear random will swing like unseen hinges. Doors that seem sealed will open with a sound so faint only an awakened heart perceives it. And turns that arrive swifter than your calculations will gently carry you to the place I ordained. At first it may make no sense, but the pieces will slide into their grooves, and you will see my hand arranging all with such precision that not a single detail is wasted. I have never worked in haste or whim. I move by an eternal rhythm, and you are invited to walk in faith. So do not clutch what I have told you to release, nor cling to a vessel cracked for fear of empty hands. When I ask you to lay it down, it is because I am ready to place something better in your grasp. Stronger, more enduring, fitted to both your hand and your calling. Trust my hand, even when your vision is blurred by the fog of doubt. You need not see the whole path to walk. You need only know who holds your hand. For my light is enough for each step, and even a small flame in the night is enough for the traveler to find the way. The days ahead will demand courage, for the fog will thicken. The wind will sometimes howl. People may fail to understand your choices, and scorn may come from the very places you thought safe. But you will not be alone. I have commanded angels to encamp around you. They stand guard at the gates. They go before each journey. They comfort when you are weary. They stir your spirit when you falter. Their presence is the sign that you are on the right path. My word remains the sword in your hand, not for show, but to cut off bitter roots, break chains, discern true from false, and clear paths where the brambles of prideful knowledge have grown dense. And I myself will be the shield before your face, not a shield to hide behind forever, but a shield to advance with in peace. Hearing the arrows strike without fear of breaking, for my covering cannot be pierced by slander or by schemes plotted in the dark. The enemy will roar to intimidate. It will cast its shadow large upon the wall to make you think it greater than it is. It will weave dire scenarios to exhaust your mind. But its threats are hollow. The judgment is already passed. Its spear is already broken. And I, the one who has overcome, give you this victory, so that you do not fight as one defeated, but stand as an heir. Remain at the post I placed. You. Do not flee your watch. Do not yield to the noise. And you will see salvation revealed at the narrowest edge, not through loud displays of wonders, but through a peace deep as a still well, untroubled by a storm. Lift your eyes. Do not bind your vision to the mire beneath your feet. Eyes fixed on me will keep your heart from faltering. I call you a witness, not because you win every debate, but because your life itself becomes a living translation of truth in a clamorous square. I send you as a messenger, not to carry banners of self, but to carry heaven's fragrance into stifled rooms, weary sickbeds, dinner tables without harmony, tense meetings thick with suspicion. My light in you will draw the thirsty and disturb the lovers of shadow. It will open some hearts and cause others to turn away, but never dim the lamp to make someone more comfortable in their night. For the light is not yours to bargain with. The light is mine, set high to shine for many, to reveal the boundary between true and false, between the way of life and the way of death. Do not measure success by the world's charts. I do not read rankings. I read the heart. You may never see the full reach of your obedience while still breathing this air. The seeds you sow in tears may bloom only in the season after. The intercession you make may only touch a heart's door one night when you are no longer near. But every act of faith, every truthful word spoken to guard righteousness, every quiet step toward good carries weight before my throne. In my kingdom, nothing done in my name is wasted. A cup of water for the thirsty, a midnight message of comfort, a forgiveness you felt the other undeserving of, all become golden threads woven into the fabric of my design. One day when every veil is lifted, you will see your thread was never out of place. It aligns with each motif. It interlocks with the threads of those you never met, and together it forms the image I conceived before earth and sky had shape. Then you will rejoice to know that what I entrusted, you kept. So walk on with quiet resolve, not heavy strain, with humble boldness, not display. I am with you, not sometimes, but always. Keep your heart pure like a stream, untainted by toxic words. Keep your gaze fixed on me like the sailor on the star, to keep his course straight. And let your hands be ready to serve like the worker, unafraid of dirt, for service is the road that opens doors no one can shut. I will guide you when you do not know whether to turn left or right. I will lift you when your knees are weak. I will carry you safely over rough ground, not always gently, but always surely. You belong to me, and I belong to you, not as a slogan, but as a covenant stronger than iron, softer than silk. A covenant sealed in my own life, signed by the Spirit and impressed upon the hearts of all who believe. And to make you bold to take hold of your portion, I say this: do not be shaken when the rhythm of life changes suddenly. When work once steady shifts course, when old relationships close and new faces appear, I am moving you out of comfort so that you meet the right people in the right place at the right time. Do not grieve when you release a familiar door. What I close is only what hinders, and what I open brings life. Do not mistake my silence for absence. Often I am silent to clear the noise around you, to teach your heart to hear my rhythm, to steady your faith even without feelings. When doubt blows through, answer with the word. It is the sharp blade that divides falsehood from truth, soul from flesh, exposing motives so you may repent and realign. When obsessions press upon your mind, hide under the shield of my presence. Do not try to sweep away the clouds with your hand, but enter the place of peace. There the clouds dissolve on their own. When worry whispers in the night, speak my name. For my name is not a syllable, but a refuge. When the weariness of daily life makes you irritable, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and let me breathe a new wind into you. Then choose an act of kindness. Such kindness is not a luxury reserved for times of abundance, but the very key that unlocks the heart's thought to be sealed shut. And when you stand at the crossroads, do not ask, "Am I enough?" but ask, "What do you desire?" For the right question will lead you out of the labyrinth of self-scrutiny. I have taught you to find rest even in the midst of battle. Do not wait until all is finished to be at peace, but enter peace before you begin. Peace is not the final reward, but the very condition required for you to act rightly. Keep lighting the lamp, fueling it with the quiet discipline of reading the word when no one sees, praying when no one applauds, helping when no one knows, and learning to listen before rushing to answer. These hidden habits will become your shield, guarding you from being swept along by the crowd. If one day you are misunderstood, choose gentleness over self-defense, for I will be your defender. If opportunity comes clothed as small tasks, embrace them with joy, for those faithful in little will be entrusted with much. If my call leads you where no one wishes to go, the infirmary, the refugee camp, the damp alley, the poor student's room, go, for there the fragrance of heaven is strongest. Do not fear labels. Do not fear being different. Obedience has always stood apart from the masses. Remember, my measure is not the world's measure. The charts hung in great halls do not define true stature, and the trophies displayed behind glass cannot weigh the substance of a soul. What I weigh is faithfulness, firm as rock, yet tender as grass. And when today's watch is done, lay all things down, return them to me, and sleep like a child, for I do not sleep. Tomorrow, when the bell of dawn awakens, rise, wash your face, breathe deeply, and step forward, not in haste, not in fear, but with dignity, for I walk beside you. I have led, I am leading, and I will continue to lead you on the righteous path, lifting you when weak, placing you in the place I have prepared, and bringing you safely to the true destination. Not the destination of fleeting fame, but of a life poured out and filled in its rightful place. You are mine, and I am yours. Not for a week, not for a season, but for eternity. My child, what you have heard today is not a conclusion, it is an invitation. Every word I release here is a piece of your journey, and each time you return, I will meet you with greater clarity, deeper truth, and fresh direction. Do not walk away thinking this was enough. Come back again, expectant, because I will continue to speak, and the next word may be the very key that unlocks what you've been waiting for. Subscribe, stay close, and return often, because I am not finished. Your breakthrough is not a single moment, it is a journey, and I will meet you here again. Amen.